Morning Motivation Squad. Hello, it's Paula. It is Aphasia Awareness Month. I'm so glad you're here. This is something I'm doing just for the month of June, as it's National Aphasia Awareness Month. It's a reminder for all of us that have aphasia, that how far we've come, and the importance of recognizing it. I've come to find out that it's 1/3 of stroke survivors are diagnosed with aphasia. Of course, there's other brain injuries that do cause aphasia as well, but I want to bring up aphasia is a language disorder and a communication disruption. And I use disruption a lot in regards to how I describe it. It is difficult to communicate. It's difficult to read and create words. There are different types, so there's different levels and extremes of mild to severe, as well as subtypes. Going forward, it's on the left-hand hemisphere majority, as our logic and language and understanding is on left side hemisphere for majority of human beings, and right side is creativity and lightheartedness and a different experience with right-sided hemisphere. So majority of, I understand that majority of strokes are left-sided. So being unable to communicate happens with a lot of people with brain injuries. And that's why I'm addressing it in regards to, what should we be aware of, what should we celebrate. But I want to get into my daily practice, and like we're going to do neck rotations. So we're just going to bring the head, shoulder to shoulder, not all the way back. Don't try to force it. Shoulder to shoulder, because what we're doing is we're working the sternocleidoid mastoid muscle, which is something I love to say, and those that follow or have watched some of my work before know that that's my favorite muscle to say. But that's what we're doing. We're not trying to build it. We're actually trying to stretch it and give it flexibility. This happens, and this is good for everyone. But in regards to strokes and disability, I have dysphagia. I had dysphagia and dysarthria, where I actually had very difficult time moving all the muscles in my neck, my shoulder, and my face that was associated with my stroke as left-sided language disruption. So how'd you do? Did you try it? Did you feel the stretch? Did you say sternocleidoid mastoid? But I want to go forward, and I want to do something a little different today. As I mentioned before, I am reading a book that one of my physical therapists had recommended, and Stroke of Insight by Jill Bolte Taylor, Ph.D. She's a Ph.D. in neuroanatomy, and she had a stroke. And he's right. The book is really very good, and he thought I'd appreciate it. Where I should mention, I'm also an exercise physiologist. I just happen to have a stroke too, with aphasia. And I'm speaking with you because I worked hard to get better. But I wanted to read a paragraph in this book, and hopefully not cry and not choke up, because I do put this book down a lot because it really catches me in my experience of what I was going through. So I'm going to read a paragraph. She's day 2 in the hospital, and she writes, the biggest lesson I learned that morning was that when it came to my rehabilitation, I was ultimately the one in control of the success or failure of those caring for me. It was my decision to show up or not. I chose to show up for those professionals who brought me energy by connecting with me, touching me gently and appropriately, making direct eye contact with me, and speaking to me calmly. I responded positively to positive treatment. The professionals who did not connect with me sapped my energy, so I protected myself by ignoring their requests. I bring this up as certainly the hospital stays we may not all remember, except aphasia and my interaction with people and family and friends has all been very learning experience. And there are some people that are just, they know how to calmly reach you and not abruptly reach you. And I say that, and I'm trying to be careful. And we're all a little different, but interaction with people is part of communication. And there's people that will just sap your energy, as her words said, and they'll take it away. And that even happens in the hospital, in the medical field, that they're not all necessarily fully understanding of all the sensitivities that stroke survivors have. Communication certainly is one of them. I mentioned it earlier in a different presentation about what communication comes at you is something, and the pace that it comes at you at sometimes is so much that you actually have to do your body language and say, wait, repeat. Other people are not open to that repeating, and they're not patient, and they will sap your energy, so I stay away from them. They're family and friends that I need to keep away, and I just need to focus on the positive. I'm asking you if that's something you're doing. I'm hoping you're not experiencing it the same way I did. At the same time, there is that Trent Shelton, protect your peace, and I follow him, and yeah, protect your peace. We're stroke survivors, and we need to survive and recover, and to choose to show up to recover is part of the process. As well as there is another person that I follow and listen to her podcast is Mel Robbins, and she has a book called Let Them. I haven't read it yet. If you have, let me know. I haven't picked it up, but let them. And the idea behind that, of course, is just let them be the people they are, whether they're professionals in the medical field that don't seem to connect with you appropriately, or family or friends. Let them. Your job, my job, is to be ourselves and get well and get better and work on our recovery and brain injury recovery. Going forth, I want to talk about another thing about brain injury recovery, and my topic is naming objects. Naming objects was a speech therapy activity that I did to help me recall, but also help me with words and forming associated combinations of words. So in my case, it was a she, but she would ask me, can you name how many flowers can you, and you name them. If you can, you write them down. And if in the beginning, it's very difficult to name, for me, to name more than a couple flowers or name trees, types of trees. I didn't get very far. But the idea is to go next week and try it again, and the week after and try it again. Not necessarily tomorrow. That's not necessarily a daily practice. At the same time, the idea is to actually work on that association as well as the words. And I could say maybe tulips. I could say roses, but I definitely couldn't say hydrangeas. It was in my head, but a combination of all the syllables of that word, but also it just wasn't coming out. And you try to pick your favorite, and it's in your head, but you can't remember how to say it. And mine's a salt mist roses. I love the smell of them. Down by the beach, me and the ocean. And I wanted to bring that up as a practice, possibly, but it's really a conversation of maybe you could start doing that and write it down. Even just sitting and thinking of associated things. Cars, think of associations. I will share 10 months, I guess, about after my stroke, I wanted to name the NFL teams. And I'm hail from Boston area originally, and I'm a NFL. I follow the sports, and I could name about 3. I couldn't even remember who won last year's Super Bowl. And that was highly unusual for me, as I was a fan. And that was very upsetting, and it's very disturbing. Much like when I say I read this book, I can't sit down and read it completely because it's very emotional. But I did do a few, and then you do it again another time, and then you try baseball in the middle, or you try hockey, listing hockey, or you try listing your basketball teams. For me, being Boston area, it's very sports orientated. So that was okay, except I couldn't do it. So those associations are important in our recovery for aphasia. Hopefully I'm explaining that well. But I'm going to go right into the affirmations. The affirmation today I have is, I am filled with energy and vitality. I am filled with energy and vitality. This will motivate me and momentum me through the day to say I am filled with energy and vitality. And I hope you said that with me. Thank you for joining. I wish you a wonderful day.